How you going, guys? Curtis from Cutting Edge Engineering. Today's job, we're going to be getting back onto our Freno-Crane project. We're going to get on to stripping all of the components off the boom. After we've done that, we're going to sandblast it, crack test it, and give it a coat of primer, ready for paint. So we're going to start with our main boom. We've got some wiring to remove and a few other parts. So all of this wiring was for the clearance lights that run up to the end of the boom while the machine is traveling during the night or in operation. All of this is being replaced. There are a few joints throughout this wiring. And I don't really want to put old wiring back up there because it's just going to give me trouble later on. And we are going to be replacing all of the clearance lights on it, so it doesn't make sense to use old wiring. So the next thing I'm going to remove is the cable extension scale. I'm not going to be replacing this because there is an electric one that hooks up to the crane safe screen in the cab. So now we're going to remove the encoder. This is what allows the digital measuring of the extension of the boom. So we're going to be keeping this because we are going to reuse it. They are a couple of $1,000s to replace them, and there's nothing wrong with this one. It's still in pretty good condition. So with all that off, we're going to remove the camera that is used for watching the winch. It's going to go straight in the bin because it doesn't actually work, and it is a little bit broken from where it's taken an impact at some stage.
It's so corroded.
Oh.
Right. Right. Wonderful.
Hey.
Straight in the bin. Righto guys, so next thing I need to do is remove this cable guide. I do have to cut the top bit of flat bar off it. It looks like it has been modified at some stage and I can't actually get to the screws that hold it to the boom. So we'll cut the top off and then we got access to that. When we do go back to reassembling the boom and putting it back together, I am going to make one that I can pull apart if I ever need to remove it to save doing any cutting. Screws. And the last thing I need to remove is this roller for the cable as it travels up the boom. So I have saved the best till last because this one's probably going to be a nightmare. So I was expecting that to happen just because of where this machine was and the environment it was in. There is a lot of corroded hardware. Now I'm going to have to try and drill that bolt out because it does go down inside the pin. And to make things even more exciting, the bolts are stainless steel, so they're always fun to drill. Wrong angle. So we can't drill through the side of it, we've got to drill through the end of it. And we're through. So we've successfully removed that pin from that roller. This boom is completely stripped now, so we're going to get this one out of the way and get the next stage set up. So with this stage, we've got a couple of nylon blocks, few shims, and 2 pulleys to remove. Should be a hole there.
Oh.
So those bolts are pretty solid, I'm not moving them at all, so I'm just going to heat the head of them up with the oxy and hopefully that will just melt the Loctite and release them.
Hey. Huh.
So that's this stage done. We're going to set up the next one. So on this end we've got 4 nylon pads, 1 keeper block which holds the nylon pads in place. We've also got a pulley and I need to undo 2 little bolts that are retaining the cable on the inside.
Oh. Very good.
So it's time to get this pulley off. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the puller I used to use for this sort of work, so I'm just going to heat this one up and try and slip it off. So that pulley's off. I did have to cut the bearing, but that's all right because we will be replacing it. This stage is done. We'll get the last one set up. So on this end, we've just got 2 nylon pads and the keeper plate, and then we're going to go down the other end where the rhino hook is.
Okay. See what that says in a minute.
Solid.
Whoa.
So with all that removed, the last thing we have to do is remove the hollow pin that is connecting the 2 pulleys onto the end of the boom. That's pretty seized at the moment, so I am just going to heat up the bottom of it red hot. We'll let that cool down and that'll then contract the pin and shrink it, and hopefully we'll just be able to drive it straight out.
Let's see what this is now. Nearly 40 degrees.
103.
Ugh.
So we're cutting it. So that didn't work. I'm going to cut the side out of the pin. So that's out, that's our last stage completely stripped. Now we're going to get them set up for blasting. Considering the condition of the crane and the environment it was in, it's going to be interesting to see if we find any rust or corrosion on any of the stages. But that's the first two sides done. I'm just going to refill the pot with garnet, then I'm going to flip the boom and do the other two sides. Righto guys, so that is the main part of the boom completely blasted. That took about an hour and 3 bags of garnet. So the paint on this was extremely thick. There was about 4 layers of 2-pack there, but we were able to remove it very easily with our blaster. What I'm going to do next is get the other 3 booms up to the same stage, then we can take them inside and crack test them.
What you got? Wait. Oh my goodness. Let's go. New toy.
Fire.
Lay down.
So as I was sandblasting this stage, I did start to uncover a problem. So I have uncovered a substantial amount of corrosion on this stage. It is in about a 1.5 metre area, and the rust pits are extremely close to each other and they are quite deep. So even though there is a lot of rust on this face, that is not overly serious. It's the rust on this radius. That's where box section gets most of its strength from, is from its corners. This RHS, it's only 6mm thick. There is a lot of damage on that corner and it is about 2mm deep, which means that is a third of the material's structural integrity that is missing. So at full extension, this could definitely fail and it could kink. So for any piece of equipment that does lifting, like a crane, this amount of rust is considered extremely severe, which means this extension will need to be replaced. So I'm not even going to try and find a second-hand one, and I know that Franna wouldn't have one on the shelf just because of the age of that crane, but that's not actually a big problem. This is rectangular hollow section. That material can be purchased off the shelf, and then I just need to get Troy to draw it up, get a structural engineer to sign off on that, and we could manufacture ourselves a new extension. So that's all the sandblasting I'm going to be doing for today. All up, that took about 3.5 hours. That includes refilling the pot with garnet, and we also used about 6 bags of garnet, so it's about 150 kilo. I'm not going to be sandblasting the manual extension because as I was doing a quick inspection on that, I did notice it does have about a 6mm bend in it at one end, so it looks like that has taken a side load at some point. I don't know if it's going to be in spec. I'm going to have to contact my structural engineer to see if that is going to be okay to use. But we're still moving forward. We're going to get on to crack testing the rest of the boom.
Let it go. Is it a brown? Oi.
He's angry.
Just off you go, little fella.
Oh yeah, go that way. No, go this way.
Where do you want it to go? Jesus Christ. Is he just under there? No. Gone. Where?
Crawled in between the wheels.
Maybe.
So that was a baby eastern brown snake. You can generally tell because they have a collar that separates the black markings on their head. They're often mistaken for a baby whip snake. Whip snakes are non-venomous and generally very placid. Because of how aggressive that snake was, that tells me it was an eastern brown, and they are actually the second most venomous snake in the world. So if there's a baby cruising around here, I wonder where mum and dad is. So we have had pretty sizable red belly black snakes. Also the eastern browns, they do make their way around through here, but that is the first snake I've seen this year. So we might see a couple more and before summer's finished. So we've got our main boom set up. For crack testing, we're not going to be using dye penetrant. We have upgraded and decided to invest in a MagnaFlux system. So this MagnaFlux yoke is the Y8 model. It is one of the larger ones. One of the main benefits of this, it is much faster than the dye penetrant system. So this is a magnetic particle tester. It can be plugged into an outlet here in the workshop, or you can charge the battery and take it out on site. So the kit does come with a metal particle powder, but I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be using the liquid form. To help make it easier to see, I will be applying a white background first, and then we will perform the crack test. So with any form of crack testing, you do want to make sure that the surface is prepped correctly, which means it's clean and dry. We're not going to be doing the entire boom. We're really concentrating on the areas that have been welded and that do a lot of the work when the crane is actually doing a lift. So that will be the main mounts that attach the boom onto the crane itself, where the lift cylinders mount onto the boom, and also at the very end where it does take a lot of that load. So the way this works, you hold the device over the area you are testing. It creates an electromagnetic field. You then apply the magnetic particle, that is either a powder or a liquid. You then de-energize the magnet, and then any imperfections like a crack will be exposed. The liquids I'm applying, they are non-fluorescent, which means you don't need a UV light to see them. So it's very unlikely we're going to find any cracks. The booms aren't put under any impact loads like an excavator, but while we've got the opportunity and it is completely sandblasted, we're going to go through all of those areas that could potentially have a fatigued area in them, and if it needs to be repaired, we can do that before we paint it. So that inspection was really successful. There were no cracks visible. The Magnaflux kit, it actually cost us $2,000, and the cans of spray, they're $40, and we can get them from our local welding shop. So this has definitely been a great investment. This is going to speed up our crack testing in the future.
George. Where'd he go? He's gone outside.
Look at the hot sun. It's too hot. Come here. Hot sun. Hey. It's enough. So with this one done, we'll get it outside and get the next stage set up. So this one's got no visible cracks either, so now we can get them set up for a coat of primer. Righto guys, so that's our boom and our first extension primed, ready for paint. So all up that took about 40 minutes, but because of the size of my spray gun, I had to fill that about 8 times. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the result, but before we do any more painting on this project, I'm gonna have to buy a bigger pressure pot so it lasts a lot longer. What we're going to need to do next is get on to drawing up the boom that we need to replace and organising materials for that. And while we're waiting for material, we're going to get stuck into doing the winch, but you'll have to stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.
That's insanity.
11:38.
Carry on.
So as I was
Zand.
and then we can make the new extension. Oh fuck.
Let's just start that again.
What? I don't know what I'm saying. So we've got our main. Oh my god, words, man. So the way this works, oh fuck me.
What?
Right. So wait. So the way this works is oh, for fuck's sake. So the way the magnet. Fuck. Just stop. What'd you say? So this Magnaflux. So this Magnaflux yoke is the. So this Magnaflux. Oh my god. Go again. Right. So this Magnaflux yoke. Oh my god.
Why?
And that is the benefit. Oh my god.
Oh my god, indeed. Start again.
I'm not starting again. So all up, that took about 40 minutes, but because of... Fuck off, train. Well, that's as blunt as they get. Good bang.
That's why you can't get it off.
So much shit in the hole.
Oh look, the tin of tuna.
Ah, Bumblebee
And the tomato
tuna.
sauce.
John West. Only the best.
6 mil. Kara just measured that with his caliper fingers.
6.5.
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Oh, half a mil. Yeah.
Half a mil, that's pretty good. I haven't had them calibrated in a while. Crikey, it's a fucking snake. So that one was definitely a danger noodle. You don't want to play with him. We also call them wiggly sticks. Crikey, she was a beauty. So even though... Something moved over there. Now I'm got on edge.
Stop running away. You funny dog. What you got? Come on.